Good afternoon, Juraj, and thank you very much for your time that you give to this video.
Good afternoon as well. Thank you for the invitation.
It's really a pleasure to see you this way. I obviously heard a lot about you and about your inspiring story, and I think it's absolutely brilliant that you be able to share your story with all our listeners. So to start the interview, I would like to ask a little bit about yourself. If you could introduce yourself and tell us where you are from and how was your childhood?
I came from Slovakia and arrived in this country in October 2005, growing up in a village called Pavlovce nad Uhom. In terms of my childhood, I had really good childhood. My parents offered what they could and they did really good, and they are still currently helping me and supporting. But living in a country where discrimination is it's very difficult, and obviously now I can compare different life living in the UK and reflecting back how it was when I lived in Slovakia. It's massively different.
And what would be the biggest difference that you would, when you compare the life in the UK and Slovakia, what do you like the most about UK?
I think UK is offer opportunities, but Slovakia, it's really hard to say. It's not even hard to say, but it's really sad to say that they're not really offering the support that we need in terms of Roma communities, and they're really judging people without knowing exactly why the people are so struggling to engage, where the weaknesses are. And I can understand that there are other people who trying to adapt, but there are also other people who struggling to adapt to the system. But we can't judge everybody kind of like in the same way, because even with non-Roma families, if one families are doing okay, that doesn't mean that everybody can do okay. Some of the families, they do need some support. And this is the difference. UK is offering support that family can thrive, but Slovakia, it's still a little bit behind just because of the prejudice.
So in terms of your Roma background, what does it mean to you to be Roma?
You know, initially, when I came into this country and I had interview and they did ask me the same question, and why I said that initially, to be a Roma, I feel very embarrassed to say I am a Roma. And I think it is because of the discrimination and because I didn't know or couldn't really say that, well, I'm doing okay and I'm an educated person. Because initially, when I came to UK, I hardly completed my secondary school, no qualification, no aspiration, nothing really. It was just really doing the same thing what I knew my parents, my grandparents, my neighbors, and the rest of the community did. But now, being educated and managed to achieve my goals, especially get the foundation and completed my degree, I feel to be a Roma is really same as everybody else. It's nothing different. If you are Roma, if you are not Roma, we are all human.
And in terms of your career, so would you please tell us a little bit about what you do now, what job you have got?
So before I came to this country, I was really concerned because my English was really poor. I couldn't even speak, to be honest. So I started with my English and then did some volunteering, but at the same time, my priority was really to get a qualification. So once I achieved the English language at that level that I needed, I started with my qualification. So I did my childcare level 2, then I did some qualification in terms of working with families. But then the biggest thing is that I was really passionate to start was my foundation degree. So I completed my foundation degree, and then I've started my BA Honours to do. And working and as well as studying was hard, but I've managed to achieve. But again, without the support from my employer, I wouldn't be able to achieve all these things. And I can say really proudly that the organisation that I work for, which is St Edmund's Nursery School and Children's Centre, offered a massive support. And I remember I needed my maths, and I was so bad with maths. And one of the heads, she was a deputy at that time, and I was just saying to her, how can I do my maths because I'm really struggling. So after her working hours, she put a lot of time and managed to help me, and I did pass all my maths in order to do the degree.
That's amazing. And what actually your job involves? What do you do on day-to-day basis?
So my work really entails working with families and children, children under 5, and the families I'm working especially is from Central Eastern Europe, Roma background. We do have a different families from different ethnicity, but my priority is to encourage Roma families to understand the benefit of education. And we are doing really well, to be fair. There are barriers initially that we faced, but now we gradually overcoming these barriers by speaking to parents, allowing them to access the premises, observing what's happening in the classroom, and then reflecting back how early education helping their children and how their children can change the whole society in terms of the cultural cycle.
That's amazing, you're right. And I'm so strongly kind of believing in the importance of early childhood development. I think that's the actually foundation of the success. If other countries would be investing as much as Britain invests into the early childhood development in the UK, we wouldn't have the problems that we have got in other European countries. If we invest in our children and help them to grow, we will make big changes. And that's absolutely what I admire about the job, because it's so important to work with children at a very early age.
But what's really important as well to say that we encourage the parents to understand the benefit of early education, but we also offering support for parents, additional courses. Because if you say to parents it's good for your child, but if you do explain the reason behind of saying good, parents may think, how do you know it's good? So we offering really a lot of work with parents as well, not just for children, but also with parents.
That's absolutely amazing, yeah. And it is important to include the parents in this process as well. So yeah, brilliant. And okay, so the job you have got now, where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? What are your goals?
I think I'm really hoping that we could set up in partnership with other organizations, something for young generation, Roma generation, like courses easily for them to understand and follow, and for them to be able to achieve even like degree courses, further education, for us to have more in our community, people like we, for example, and inspire the community to do good and really start breaking the cycle. And we should really move on.
Totally. And this actually takes us nicely to our very last question. What would be your recommendation to all our young listeners of these videos? What would be your tips to succeed in life?
I think education. Education is the key. And the thing is with education, nobody can steal. It will stay for you forever. So education is the main key. And I know from personal experience as well, initially if someone says to me education, I would say, oh, whatever.
Thank you very much, Juraj. Obviously it's all about education and providing quality education to children, and also showing them that obviously at the end of the educational process, they will be able to succeed in their life. And that's so important. And that's, the purpose of those videos of people like yourself, the positive Roma role models in the UK and other countries, to show the children that if they work hard on themselves, it's not going to be easy, but if they work hard, they can succeed and they can be whatever they want to be in their lives.
Yeah, and that what I always tell into like a young student when I can like getting some invitation from university in Bradford, and I do stressing that it's really easy for somebody to say that, oh well, but education is free here, and they can achieve what they can here because it's different compared to Slovakia. It is true, and it is right, but coming from a background where discrimination just caused all the distress and lack of inspiration, you do need somebody who can empower you and really not teach, but encourage why it's important, the education for you and for your life is really important. But as I said, everything can be stolen, but education will stay for you forever.
Absolutely. That's very nicely said. Thank you very much, Juraj. Once more, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate all the messages that you have given us in this video. And I'll be looking forward to meeting you soon, hopefully in person, and catching up with you.
Yeah. Thank you as well. And it was my pleasure to be here with you.